Today, this holiday weekend, the entire Discover Oklahoma crew sit down to share the stories they're thankful for this year.
Travel with AAA's Discover Oklahoma.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. I'm Jennifer Reynolds.
And I'm Dean O'Lawley.
We are so grateful to have viewers like you who tune in every week and travel with us as we explore wonderful destinations all around our great state.
We're also thankful for the chance to travel across Oklahoma to see those destinations firsthand and meet some truly extraordinary people. So this week we're going to share some of those stories that we are grateful we had a chance to cover.
And one of mine was turned out to be kind of a surprising oasis of civility and calm tucked away in an unassuming shopping strip in Shawnee. We found the tasteful and the tasty at the Grangeville Rose Tea Room.
Well, hopefully when they enter those doors, they'll have a surprise because the outside of our building is not exactly like the interior. And they will experience a welcoming spirit, I believe, and we like to make people feel very comfortable.
I almost defy you not to feel comfortable in the Grangeville Rose Tea Room. It just feels homey. Even if it's not the home you grew up in, it feels like the home of somebody you once loved to visit.
We try to delight people with a touch of the past, maybe having lunch in their grandmother's dining room or their great aunt's dining room or something of long ago, just to bring that back to them and so that they can feel the passion of civility and niceties that maybe they don't get to have every day.
Named for the sprawling ranch house where Cynthia grew up, the tea room was inspired by her mother's approach to homemaking and entertaining.
She could make a party out of anything. And, between her gardening and her family and cooking, it was just a flurry of activity all the time.
Starched linens and polished silver, cherished china, even if it was a little worn, all came out for entertaining. And Cynthia wants to share that lovely, old-fashioned approach to dining.
I think that people crave this. I think that people want this. It's something that I'm pleased to be able to share. We have groups of families that come in and the parents sit the children down at the table and they say, look, this is, knives and spoons go on the right and forks on the left, and the children are, enthralled by it. I think they like niceties, and I think that they crave that too, the training. And
you'll have to use all your training and your willpower not to just dive headfirst into the offerings here. I have to say the desserts I tasted, the chocolate mousse and the lemon tart, were as good as any I've ever had anywhere. The tomato soup was delicious and the chicken Waldorf salad was tangy and satisfying.
My nephew Brian is our pastry chef and my business partner, and he outdoes himself. We feature Bingley's teas here, and they're some of the finest loose leaf teas I've ever enjoyed. So they can partake of that, and the music is playing, and you just relax with your friends and enjoy the food, and you're waited on hand and foot. You want for nothing. We love to spoil people.
Add in wonderful service, chamber music, and the quiet murmur of the other guests, and it's just a lovely break from the fast and furious world out there. And this is just an average lunch. Once a month, there's high tea and live English country music.
To delight and inspire is my motto, and that's what we try to do.
It's a good idea to call ahead if you want to enjoy the serenity, the sweets, and the comfort food at the Grangeville Rose Tea Room in Shawnee, and you can find the location and more on the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com. The lemon squares really need a label on there that says caution that may be addictive.
And you have to pull people away like we did her, which was kind of embarrassing, but that's okay.
Kicking and screaming through the parking lot was humiliating.
I tell you, one thing I'm thankful for is one of our great partners in promoting what Oklahoma truly has to experience, and that's Oklahoma Today Magazine, award-winning Oklahoma Today Magazine, and the holiday issue is on newsstands now.
Here is editor Steffi Corcoran.
Hey everybody, I'm here to talk a little bit about the November-December 2013 issue of Oklahoma Today Magazine, the official state magazine of Oklahoma since 1956. We're very excited this year to present a story on the Cross Timbers region in Oklahoma. We also have a piece of short fiction from Eddie Chukalay, a writer from Muskogee. So the blowout for this issue is a big holiday package that has literally everything from where to shop, to where to give back, to how to decorate your house, to, goodness, anything you might possibly want to think about with the holidays. We've tried to put it in this feature. If you're as crazy about the holidays and about Oklahoma as we are, you can find Oklahoma Today on newsstands everywhere now, or visit oklahomatoday.com and get your own copy, or better yet, a subscription.
I'm very excited because the Discover Oklahoma crew is going to be joining us next.
To talk about the stories that have made them all grateful to be part of your Discover Oklahoma team. What made our team thankful, coming up when AAA's Discover Oklahoma returns.
On the road, one never knows what lies ahead. Indubitably, almost every week, one encounters bad form from Sunday drivers.
Sheer rudeness begets the occasional fender bender.
Precisely why we have insurance from AAA.
Hear, hear.
A name drivers can trust.
Especially good ones.
Especially great ones.
Cheers!
Every night, my honey lemon and I sit alone and talk and watch a hawk making lazy circles in the sky. We know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, yo, honey, honey, yeah, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, come see for yourself.
Hail, hail.
It's just frozen rain.
Can we just please pull over? There's gonna be dents all over the car. What are we, storm chasers? This is insane.
Until there's a climate control knob that actually controls the climate,
See, thank you for agreeing with me.
there's the next best thing, insurance from AAA.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. The gang is all here this week. Hello, gang.
Yay.
Hoorah! They are fired up. We are enjoying some warm beverages on a cool day and all the ambiance and books, everything there is to enjoy here at Full Circle Books in Oklahoma City.
And like you, we're feeling very thankful, sharing stories we've had a chance to tell you about over the last couple of years, actually, and in many instances, we got a chance to get to know you as well.
How cool is it that I got to go bass fishing with legendary bass fisherman Chuck Justice?
But I had you pretty afraid you were going to be outfished by a girl.
At first I was scared, I was petrified. No, seriously, I did have justice on my side.
Oklahoma fishermen and chicks have long said that there's no justice in fishing. Well, those folks have never fished McGee Creek State Park with Oklahoma's own bass guide, Chuck Justice.
I'm the only angler in Oklahoma history to ever have more than one bass on the Oklahoma Top 20 list of biggest bass ever caught in the state. I've had 4 of them on there. I've also had 2 clients that have had fish on the Oklahoma Top 20 list. Now, we catch a lot of great big bass at the lakes that I got on, but we also catch a lot of bass. So when you come fishing with me, we're going to probably catch some bass, and you're probably going to get a chance at the biggest bass you've ever caught in your life.
Well, after a pep talk like that, it's time for Chuck, videographer Tommy, Mama Shell, and I to hit the water and catch us some lunkers. Now, our first stop was a honey hole that Chuck said we'd at least snag us one of those elusive oaky stickfish. But of course, Chuck and Mama Shell were conspiring behind my back to make sure Shell caught the first fish.
She's gonna skunk me today.
You got one. Set the hook, set the hook. Got him? Keep him coming, keep him coming. Reel, 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 reel. Oh, it's a big one. It's a big one. Stop, stop reeling, stop reeling. Come here, baby. All right. Woo!
Oh, it is on now. Ain't no way Mama Shell's gonna show me up. So I fish. And I fish. I even sing the Fishy Fishy song. Fishy, fishy in the brook, man catch him with a hook. Mama fry him up in pan, baby eat him like a man. And then, booyah!
All right, man, there you go. Okay, that's that one that probably hit her. There you go, there's your big one. Okay, push the button on the reel, but put your thumb on it when you push it. All right,
Hey, there's a nice one there.
How big
Get some
do you
flat.
suppose that is?
I don't know. How big do you think it is?
I think that's 18 pounds.
18 pounds.
It's not 18
I like the
pounds.
way you.
I was gonna say,
you,
I
you
like the
fish
way
with
you
me
think.
anytime you want to.
All kidding aside, Chuck Justice is such an amazing guide. He had Mama Shell and me catching, so he finally got to drop a hook.
All right, we got the trifecta going here.
Dude, that's some serious fishing. So the next time that you want to show up your friends, you need to give Chuck Justice a call and get some justice while you're fishing.
It's like a rock.
We'll turn
Chuck Justice.
At McGee Creek State Park, I'm Jeff Roberts.
Man, that's a nice fish now.
All right, so don't go anywhere. I know you've got a story that you're grateful for.
I actually do, and it's a place of distinction and elegance, so I'll have to clean up a little bit from that last story, and I'll tell you all about it when AAA's Discover Oklahoma returns.
I was sitting behind an SUV at a red stoplight, and I guess the light wasn't turning green fast enough for her, so she puts her SUV in reverse and backs right into my new car. I'd called her insurance several times, and they had never heard of her.
We recommended that she go ahead and turn the claim in to AAA so that AAA claims adjusters could take care of her.
I paid my $500 deductible to get my car fixed, and I didn't ever expect to see that money again.
I didn't want her to have to be out $500 because it wasn't her fault. So that was the only question. A lot of times if there is no insurance coverage, it's hard to get the other party to pay up.
2 months later, I had a check in the mail from AAA for my $500. So when I had given up on it, they were still fighting to get my money back for me.
She said, guess what? I got a check in the mail. That was a good feeling for her, and it made me feel good too.
They've really shown me that if I ever have a problem, that they're gonna help me fix it.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. I'm Abby Curran, your Tulsa correspondent. We're so thankful for the stories that we get to cover around Oklahoma, but especially the people we get to meet.
Exactly. That reminds me of a family that I was so touched by that I met in northwestern Oklahoma. And they run a pair of really unique businesses and play off each other's strengths to keep those businesses going in the town of Alva and the tiny, tiny town of Burlington.
Northwestern Oklahoma is home to some of the state's most jaw-dropping natural wonders. Treasures like Alabaster Caverns, Little Sahara, the sparkling Gloss Mountains, and the mind-boggling Great Salt Plains, to name a few. Well, two sisters in Alva had the brilliant idea to create a home base for exploring the area. Accommodations that could stand toe-to-toe with nature's beauty. And as they were imagining it, the perfect house came onto the market.
Ever since its completion in 1906, the site of this magnificent home in Alva has stopped folks in their tracks.
In a word, wow.
The lead glass in the front of the house, there's like over 1,500 pieces of lead glass in the front corridor. The chandeliers were shipped over from Austria. When we all walked in this house, we all said immediately, this is the kind of place that needs to be shared with people.
The mansion's original owner was George W. Kroll, a Kansan who became one of Alva's most prominent businessmen. While it's true that Mr. Kroll spared no expense in the construction of the home, I'll have to say that the sisters have taken the mansion to a whole new level.
We wanted all the bedrooms to be unique and special so that when you walk in each bedroom of the house, there is a different theme and that you're stepping into, just different beautiful Victorian rooms.
Lori and Sherry are both decorating addicts and sisters.
Sherry will come and put something up.
She'll sneak around.
When she leaves to go home, I'll say, we need to lower that picture, and I'll hurry and do it before she gets
and
back.
And then she'll leave and I'll run around and I'll change something. And then we'll just roll our eyes.
Thanks to their attention to detail, the Vintage Inn sparkles with extra touches, from fluffy robes and fresh flowers to gourmet cheeses and chocolates. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I forgot to mention that the pampering begins the moment your feet hit the ground. If you arrive by airplane, as many guests here do, the Vintage Inn's own limo service will pick you up at the Alva Airport and deliver you curbside to the B&B. Each room in the massive home invites you in, whether you prefer to be social or simply want to tuck away.
There's just such a peacefulness about the house. When you enter this house, there is such a solitude and a quietness, and a place that you can just come and you just feel like you're at peace.
After a soak in one of the home's original clawfoot tubs, get ready for a rejuvenating rest. In the morning, indulge in a grand slam breakfast that hints both to the sisters' cosmopolitan Tulsa roots and the country cuisine of the area. And this is when it becomes most obvious. Sherry and Lori were born to do this.
I think that in the world, that's what we're here for, is to love one another and to bring people closer together. And this is just, for us, the dream. This is the perfect opportunity to do that. It's perfect.
It's a warmth and caring they attribute to their mother's influence.
Because of her, the dream became a reality for us. Without her, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So, Mom, we just wanted to say thanks for this.
Thanks, Mom.
When we dreamed of doing this, we wanted this to be the elite of the elite, that when you come, that you left going, wow, that was an incredible experience.
Though the Vintage Inn is certainly convenient lodging for your northwestern Oklahoma excursion, surprisingly, the inn is a destination in itself. And aren't those kinds of surprises the reason we travel in the first place? At the Vintage Inn Bed and Breakfast in Alva, I'm Shel Wagner.
Well, there are a couple of crew members who are actually seldom in the picture.
Because they're usually behind the camera, but they do have stories they're grateful for as well, and we'll share that with you when AAA's Discover Oklahoma returns.
He's been our insurance agent for the last 6 years, but the year before that, he was the best man at my wedding.
Asked him if I could quote his auto insurance, to which he said, yes, but you're gonna have to beat the company I've been with for forever in order to get it.
I didn't think they'd be able to.
So I took the opportunity to quote it, and I was able to save him about $600 a year.
Man, I was just like, boom shakalaka, like, are you kidding me?
He actually said that on the phone, boom shakalaka.
You know, saving money with AAA means food on the table for my family. Even after he saved us tons of money, he's looked at our policy over the years and helped us make changes to save even more money without us asking.
We offer the best of both worlds. We have great customer satisfaction through the level of service that we provide, and combined with an amazingly low rate.
You know, as a parent and as a husband, having insurance is a safety net because life happens. I know that AAA is going to take care of us. I don't have to worry about it. AAA is going to be there. Levi's going to be there. They're going to take care of our needs.
Welcome back. AAA Oklahoma makes this show possible and does a lot of other great things around our state. Here's a look at today's AAA.
Hi, Christy Gettle here with AAA Oklahoma. With online travel sites and the ability to book directly through most airlines and hotels, what's the incentive for booking with a travel agent? First of all, we save you time by doing all of the research for you. With years of experience and the nation's largest travel agency backing us, we're experts when it comes to planning the vacation of your dreams. Secondly, we save you money by guaranteeing the lowest rates available, and we get you perks by giving you exclusive access to member amenities and rewards. Plus, we're world travelers ourselves and have experienced many of our packages firsthand, so our recommendations are based on real-life experience. What website can say that? So if you're ready to plan a trip with someone 100% dedicated to your vacation needs, visit AAA.com.
AAA, for the ones who matter most to you.
As we've said, you know, the chance to travel around and see just about every square inch of Oklahoma and eat in some great restaurants is a job that we're all very thankful for.
You bet we are, and I know our videographers like Tommy Evans love the visuals. Walt Cox, who's behind the camera today, loves the stories also that we get to do because of the people that we meet. He does not, however, like to be in front of the camera, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a favorite. In fact, his favorite story so far, the one he is most grateful for, is the day he got to spend with Oklahoma-born, Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter John Fulbright.
A tour of Bearden won't take you long. Besides the school, the baseball field, and a few cottages, this community along a shady section of Highway 48 is as quiet as they come. And for one young man, that serenity has proven to be a very good thing.
I learned to play the piano because
there's nothing to do out here. There's not a sidewalk to skate on, and there's not a mall to go hang out in. And so, you know, I started picking up instruments, and I started playing the piano, eventually started writing songs.
The songwriting that started here still happens here on this patch of land that John calls home.
And the only fight that remains is called keeping hope alive.
The modest clapboard house, which has been in the family for generations and served as a venue for his album cover, is the one place on earth where this thoughtful musician feels most rooted and most inspired.
Because this is where I can come write songs, you know? Cook my own meals, sleep in my own bed, think my own thoughts.
Bearden is only 10 miles from Okemah, and it was there in a local Okemah cafe where John first tried his hand at performing.
I'd set it up on Friday nights and just start playing. And I'd have a big notebook full of stuff that I like. I'd print it off with lyrics and stuff, and I'd just sing every song that I liked until my voice was out.
Singing for a few random tips at the cafe eventually led to John having an actual paid gig at a local winery.
And a guy named Tom Skinner was playing over there, and he was one of the first guys that I saw that was just so good and not famous and didn't really want to be famous. And I didn't know that that existed, that there was a world in which you could play music and not be rich and famous, but still be happy and still do your own thing.
John Fulbright has got the do his own thing part down pat, but it's the not getting famous part that he's having a bit of trouble with, due in part to a recent Grammy nomination.
Greg Johnson called me. He's managing me. He calls me and he says, I don't want you to get your hopes up, but they are doing Grammy stuff right now. He says, the word on the street, I don't know what this grapevine is that he's listening to, but is that there's a very small chance that you could get nominated in the Americana category. And so I go, yeah, big deal. You know, we both kind of laughed and said, wouldn't that be something?
Before long, the call came. It was official. John Fulbright was a Grammy-nominated musician.
You know, I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to do with my hands. I didn't know what to do with any of it. I didn't know what it meant.
Then came word that he would also be performing at the awards on national television.
I sort of had a little personal breakdown walking into the place because I kept going, I'm from Bearden, Oklahoma, and I'm not supposed to be here right now.
These days, it's not often that John can sneak into a venue without attracting a crowd. He's humbled by that, but says that his focus is really just on the music and on trying to get better.
I never got into any of this to do anything but just be good at it. And that's all I'm trying to do. If it's a song, I want to be a good songwriter. If it's piano, I want to be a good piano player. And I never wanted to be a star. I'm scared to death of that, you know. Money would be nice. But as far as the rest of it, I think as long as I'm focusing on trying to be a better whatever it is that I'm doing, then the rest hopefully will fall into place.
It seems to me that it already has. With John Fulbright in Bearden, I'm Shel Wagner.
Well, that's our show for this week. We are grateful to the folks here at Full Circle Bookstore for giving us a place to kind of loiter and reminisce. And we do want to remind you that you can pick up the newest edition, the holiday edition of Oklahoma Today magazine on newsstands, including Full Circle Bookstore.
That's right. Jennifer, I know I can speak with you. We're also very grateful to work with these great bunch of guys.
It's a great crew.
Every single week. We have Mickey Galloway, Jeff Roberts, Shel Wagner, Abby Curran, Tommy Evans. Walt is behind the camera. Quinn Tran couldn't be here because of a scheduling conflict, but we are very grateful to work with them every single week.
And we're grateful to you for watching. Hope to tune in next week.
Next week, it's the Joe Show. That's right, we'll start with tasty cups of Joe from Tulsa to Stillwater. And how about Joe's famous pizza? And last but not least, great barbecue at Smokin' Joe's. Hope you'll join us.
So until next time, remember,
There's always something to discover in Oklahoma. Production vehicle provided by the Oklahoma Ford Dealers, official partner of the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department.